Welcome. I'm Michael Singer, author of New York Times best-selling books, The Untethered Soul and The Surrender Experiment. And I am so honored to have been asked by San to spend some time with you to talk about the relationship between science and yogic liberation, true liberation. I have tremendous respect. I've been doing yoga and meditating for 45, 50 years now, and I have found tremendous, tremendous help in my spiritual journey by the teachings of science. Some people think that science and religion and science and spirituality are quite separate. The truth is, it's quite the opposite. It's completely the opposite. Our scientists are like our priests. They're our teachers. If we would live what they teach us, we would need no other teachings. From the beginning of human time, humans have asked the question, what's going on out there? What is it? I'm looking at all these things, clouds, planets, rocks, earth, animals. What is it? Where did it come from? Plato asked, Aristotle asked, all of them. We are so fortunate to live in a time, in a generation, where we are actually finding out phenomenal answers to these questions. And the answers are very, very spiritual. Newton didn't look at things the way Einstein did. In those days, in that world, they saw a complete distinction between what they called energy, the forces of nature, and matter, form. We all know that Einstein gave us a great gift. He followed form all the way down, past molecules, past the atoms, past electrons, neutrons, and protons. And what a brilliant mind he had to see that behind it all, it was really just energy, that this was just a dance of energy. In his own words, energy is matter, and matter is energy, and the difference is just a temporary state. That is a very great breakthrough to tell us that that which we're looking at outside isn't what it appears to be, that it's really just the manifestation of a single energy field that, through the forces of creation, manifests as we see it. We live in an age, even past Einstein, where with quantum physics, they ask the question not, is it energy? Now we know it's energy. How does it go from energy, a wave of a force field, and turn into particles, and turn into electrons, neutrons, and protons, and become atoms and molecules, and create, literally do it step by step, follow creation from its source of energy all the way up. And what we have found, certainly I'm no quantum physicist, all right, but the general understanding that one can think that as wavelets of the underlying energy are going through their dance, their cosmic dance of peaks and troughs, that when they reach that peak or reach that trough and they change direction, they throw off a particle, they throw off a force, a tiny little force that has characteristics, qualities, quarks, leptons, bosons, and that these come together, interacting in that space just outside the energy field and create the entire world that we live in. That is an amazing thing to have figured out. And our quantum physicists, not me, but our quantum physicists know all the math and the full understanding of how all this takes place. And even the fundamental forces of gravity, electromagnetism, strong nuclear and weak nuclear are just bosons popping out of these fields of energy, interacting with the other particles to make up everything. That's fascinating. Why is it spiritual? And what does it have to do with the deep, deep non-dualist teachings that have been passed from the beginning, thousands of years ago in the Buddhist and yogic traditions? And what you find is that the highest spiritual technique is to actually live that truth. It isn't a matter of studying it, even getting down to the bottom of how all of it works. But right now we realize things are not what they appear to be. It is not true that there are men and women. It is not true that there's good and bad, nice and not nice. What is true is there's an underlying field of quantum energy the quantum fields that permeate the entire universe. It is omnipresent. We use that word for God, but we also use it for the quantum field. It is omnipresent. The galaxies themselves are all made of the quantum field. The void, interstellar space is made of the quantum field. Everything is the quantum field. There is nothing but that. But we don't live like that. We come home and get frustrated. We yell at our wives. We expect our children to be certain ways. We get mad at our car because it has a scratch. We constantly live at a level that has nothing to do with what science has taught us. And I mean nothing, all right? We're a quantum physicist and we write a paper and somebody releases the concept we had 3 hours before we do, and we get all upset. So it's like you stop at some point and say, what's going on? Either these things are the truth or they're not the truth. And if they are the truth, why are we not living them? Why are we not living that truth? Why are we not in awe, not at what's happening around us and whether we like it or not, but the very fact that it's there? You look at a flower, that is a gift from the quantum field. It came out of the quantum field, not billions of years ago. Right now, at this moment, every single thing you look at is manifesting through that hierarchy of energy spawning off these subatomic particles, momentary, creating themselves and disappearing in space, seemingly randomly, and putting themselves together to make what you are looking at. How do you not call that a miracle? How is everything not a miracle? How is it not the most amazing thing that all of this diversity and beauty and everything you're looking at is just coming out of an undifferentiated field of energy? And so science is challenging us to become enlightened. Science is challenging us to transcend the illusion of the appearance of things and to actually live the truth of what's going on. Why don't we live that way? Because something that didn't manifest from the quantum field, which is someday they will realize consciousness is the most powerful underlying force in creation. That is what the great yogis taught, because they went into consciousness. They dropped back through deep meditation into the source of their awareness and explored that. And what they found is that all of creation manifests from consciousness. It is all just the vrittis of the quantum field, are just the vibrations of consciousness manifesting as form, and then pure consciousness looking at that form. Well, in between the dance of creation, which is the dance of the quantum field, manifesting the awesomeness of what has been created, what a creative force, and consciousness, the same consciousness, looking at its creation, what is developed in between is this thing called the psyche, this thing called the ego, this very personal mindset that says, I am separate from all this, and there's a way I need it to be, and there's a way I like it being, and there's a way I don't like it being, and I'm going to make it be that way, and start asserting our will, the power of our consciousness, to try to fight with the quantum field and say, no, you should not be raining now. I have to go somewheres. You should not be behaving like this. You should not be doing this, right? That you're literally telling the force of creation that for 13.8 billion years made every single thing there is, and then moved through time and space to create what exists now. You're telling you did wrong. I matter. You don't matter. I'm more important than the quarks, leptons, and bosons that are popping out of this phenomenal field manifesting what's in front of me. That's the definition of ego, right? The absurdity of the individuality of self, of thinking that just because your consciousness is limited by your senses, when you look out and all you see is what is coming in through your senses, that somehow there's something special about what you see. There's something special about what's happened to you. Instead of understanding that everything's the same, it's all the manifestation of this phenomenal force that is expressing itself out of the quantum field and through the layers of physics up into the form that you're looking at. It has nothing to do with you. If you don't like what you're looking at, look to the right, look to the left, jump up and down. It's different everywhere, but it's all the same. It's a true non-duality. It is all the same. It is energy manifesting itself in the diversity, the apparent diversity of form, but we're getting caught in that. And when we look out at it, we think that somehow what we're seeing is more important than what we're not seeing. That somehow what we've had experiences in the past that were pleasant, and so we want them to happen again. We've had experiences in the past that were not pleasant, so we don't want those to happen again. And we develop in between the consciousness and the manifestation of creation, we develop this psychological mumbo-jumbo in our minds that says, I matter, and I'm separate, and I'm different, and things should be the way I want. And then we go out there and use our willful energy to try to fight with the awesome, beautiful, miraculous manifestation of creation, thinking that I know better because I've experienced 0.0000001% of what's going on. Because at any given moment, that's all you're experiencing. At the moment you're having your experience, taking the data of that moment, you are missing 99.99999% of everything that's going on in creation. And that has happened every moment of your life. So the data that we have is statistically insignificant. It is meaningless. Nothing, no one has any meaningful data because they only pick up what their senses are letting in, and they are missing everything else that's going on at the same time. So as intelligent beings that are basing all of our truths upon science, we have to embrace that, not just study it. We have to live it. We have to dare to say, this is a lie that's going on inside my mind. It's an illusion. It's a maniac who thinks that he's the creator of the universe just because he's had a few experiences and that he or she has the right to say, things should be the way I want. No, things should not be the way you want. It doesn't even make sense. You made up what you want based on these minuscule past experiences that you had. It's all conditioned response. So you've had this conditioning, but you've missed everything in the universe. So the moment in front of you should not be the way you want. It should never be the way you want. It should be the way it is. If your mind ever says, well, why would that happen? Talk to a physicist. Why is it raining on my birthday? Talk to a meteorologist. Either we're going to embrace science or we're not. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with how the quarks, leptons, and bosons pop out of this field and then manifest. And if you think that you're doing that, or that you should have control over that, that's the cause of all wars. That's the cause of all disharmony in creation, is that each individual person has taken in the minuscule data that they've seen and formulated in their mind concepts and views and opinions and preferences, and now they think that's what should be going on. And then they fight with everybody else. So to bring harmony in this world and to bring enlightenment within oneself, one has to not just study, but embrace the reality of what we're being taught, of what we understand. That is, there's nothing going on out there except the manifestation of a phenomenal energy field that 13.8 billion years ago shot out of a big bang and has done its dance of creation ever since. And we are here for a billionth of a trillionth of a second, experience a billionth of a trillionth of it, saying we know what's going on. The humility of truth is we have no idea what's going on. We just know that we exist, we are conscious, and that we are honored to be able to experience this phenomenal dance of manifestation. If you do that, and honor and respect and embrace and love all that is unfolding in creation, you will reach a very, very great state. If you let go of that made-up individuality that is developed within the psyche, then there's nothing left. Consciousness touches consciousness. And that is the merger. That is what Christ meant when he said, my Father and I are one. That is where Buddha went. That is where all the great rishis, the great masters who fell back into the seat of consciousness and released the sense of individuality and merged. So science is a great thing, a very great thing. It is not against religion. It is the essence and underlying force that leads us to God if we're willing to live it. Not just study it, but literally live it every second of our lives. Thank you for the wonderful work that you all do. I respect it very, very deeply. And let's do what we can to live the truth, not just study it. Thank you.